Most home bakers will identify with this exact scenario. You've been baking and decorating your cake all day, and it's nearly past 2 a.m., and you're just about finished. And then you only get a couple of hours sleep till the actual day of the party. Then you're grumpy and tired because you spent so long doing your cake. Now, that is not what cake pros do. If they did that, they wouldn't last long. So why don't we look at how cake pros approach making and decorating and learn how to decorate like a pro. So in this video, I'm going to be sharing with you a system that you can use to make baking and cake decorating so much easier, super stress-free. So do make sure that you watch all the way to the end. This is a game changer, I tell you. Would it surprise you if I said almost no cake pro ever makes the cake on the same day that they're going to decorate it? That doesn't actually make any sense. But that is what we do as home bakers. We start off in the morning, bake our cake, and then we realize actually we've got to wait a couple of hours for the cake to cool down. Then we're making our frosting, then we're making the decoration, then we're putting it all together. And before you know it, we spent the best part of the whole day and probably the whole night baking our cake, and we are tired. There's a way that you can work totally different. So let's break it down. This is what cake pros do. They have a system and they split the work over many days, weeks, and sometimes even more. You can do that too, and you will find that cake making and cake decorating is not as stressful as it used to be. So things that you can make well in advance. Number one, your fondant decorations. Fondant decoration will keep for ages. I've actually got a friend that has the fondant, those sugar flower fondant from her wedding 12 years ago, and they still look pristine. Now, I'm not saying that you need to make it years in advance, but it just goes to show that fondant will last a very long time. So you can make your fondant decoration weeks to months in advance. And that's a time saver because fondant decorations can be quite time consuming. So if you make it well in advance, one, you save yourself time on the day when it comes to decorating the actual cake. And also you have plenty of time for it to dry out. And that's particularly important if you are making like very intricate fondant models that need to dry out. You have plenty of time. So make your fondant decoration well in advance. All you have to do to store them is you put them in like a container, a cardboard box, and you don't cover it. If you cover it, you'll have humidity in the container, which will make your fondant model sticky. You just literally stick it in a box, stick it in a container with the lid off, store in a cool, dry place, and it will keep for months and weeks. So that is what cake pros do. A second thing you can make well in advance is your cakes. Now, would it surprise you that lots of cake makers freeze their cakes? Yes, freeze their cakes. You might think, actually, if I freeze my cake, that just sounds nasty. But honestly, it does not affect your cake. Actually, that is a lie. It makes your cakes even moist. More moist. Yes, more moist. Well, for me, all my cake recipes taste absolutely delicious when I freeze it and unfreeze it. So actually, most times I rarely ever decorate a cake that's not been frozen because freezing the cake saves me time. I make it weeks up to a month in advance and stick it into my freezer, bring it out the day before I want to use it, and it will just thaw. By the time it's the day of the actual party or celebration, you would never know that it has been frozen. So if you want to learn how to freeze your cake, I got a tutorial. I'll put the link up for you so you can check it out and then know how to wrap your cake securely and freeze it. So that's another thing that you can do well in advance. Now, some people do not like the idea of freezing their cakes. They might think that it doesn't work quite well. No problem. You can still bake your sponge cakes a day or two in advance. It will keep well in the fridge. All you've got to do is wrap it up very nicely with cling film and pop it in the fridge. It's not going to dry out. It will be absolutely fine. So we've made our fondant decorations. We've made the cake. Another thing that you can make in advance are other decorations like your rice paper sails, your wave paper sails. You can make that in advance. You can also do your board. So if you're going to cover your board with fondant, again, you can do that a couple of days in advance. And for me, I like to make my frosting the day before I'm decorating. Most frosting will keep very well room temperature overnight. If you are using something that has like cream cheese or lots of fresh cream, you might need to store it in the fridge, but again, you can do that overnight. So I've literally made everything before the day of decorating. So on the day of decorating, I don't have to be waiting for the cakes to cool down. I don't have to start making my frosting or anything else. I'm literally ready to go. The other thing I do is the night before decorating, I bring out everything, all my tools, the cake board, my turntable, everything all there on my work surface, ready to go. So literally on the day of decorating, all I've got to do is put on my apron and start putting my cake together and creating magic. So you see, this is a system that takes the stress out of cake decorating. And this is what cake pros do so that they don't become overwhelmed. So now you know the secret. Now you can implement this in a way that works for you. And baking and cake decoration can be a stress-free event. So let me know what you think of the system. Is there anything that you don't agree with? Do you have any tips that help you in your cake decorating that you would love to share with my homemakers? I would love to know. So pop it in the comment section. And this is a Christmas video, so if I don't say you, I'll say Merry Christmas and Happy New Year in advance. If you're watching this any other time of the year, this works just as well. So I'll see you next time. Happy baking!